Predictions, Domaytoe. What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to take this one? I'm going to go on a limb out here, and I think that France is going to take this one very convincingly. But Turkey will be able to at least snag a point off of French, pride. Because pride always comes before a fall, doesn't it?
Yeah, and as much higher the, pride is, the deeper the fault, and we'll have to see, because we're actually starting on Gullywash. I don't know if this is so much actual necessary, or if they could have also started on product, because you only have to play the 2 maps, but I think they definitely does give Turkey a bit of a more heads up, because I feel like 5CP is more forgiving than King of the Hill, because in the end you have this 30-minute timer counting down, and you can always make the plays as long as you have time and confidence in your team. But here we go on to the first mid-fight. The red side, the front side, is rolling out of big door, and there is no pick going on, as they just slowly eking out to their positions.
Yeah, no kills as of yet, but a bunch of people are low on health, and mainly on the red side here. What is going on? Kazar grabs himself a headshot onto the medic. No more medic for the blue side. Now they're kind of scrambling around with no heals. They need to resupply. They need to fall back, but Hydra is walking on the point, and they're claiming kills for themselves. That's 3 down for the red team. And then France needs to get back. They lost Kazarok as well, but now finally the exchanges are coming from the French team. But the first point, surprisingly after losing their medic, is going to belong to the Turkish team.
See? Don't count them out. That is a very, very good mid-fight for the Turkish team, just to straight off start everything, and we have to guess whoever passed. Maybe it is just the French getting overwhelmed, or maybe just Turkey being so just hyped up that someone accidentally hit the pause button, or you have to type pause, but you understand the analogy. But anyway, and then even when they have this push after that, just into the second point, Kenlock just got a fadeaway headshot on the midpoint on the demo man, so the demo man on a long the medic, Euthanasia on the medic class, therefore France, and having on a long respawn wave, that could definitely cost them. So just, if you get your early lead, Jake, you can definitely influence the pacing of the game quite heavily, especially as the underdogs.
Yeah, the unpause has come out. Greyjury is slowly rejoining his team, and now the Turkish team is just in control of the first middle point here. Quite convincing so far. Patate is just chasing down the spy, and here comes Rav going down just the way it was intended by Pyroclast. Now they're moving on to the mid. Both Ubers are about equal here, Domaytoe. Not much of an action is happening. Hydra is getting really aggressive with that Thomas Lab, though. And Kazarok is scoping. He's gonna get himself a headshot with the Huntsman. He's looking for another one, and Hydra's gonna go down as well. That's Kalis is the credit for that kill. They're taking the important kills here. No more sniper, no more demo, no more medic either, as Kalis just walks forward and grabs himself a quadra there.
Yeah, that's a double K on 2K on the combo, and then after that the just pipe coming in onto the medic, basically killing the entire combo by himself. They still have 80% onto their own medic. They have to watch out that it doesn't get forced, and he doesn't. There was a kind of scout aggression in their choke from the Turkish scout going onto the medic, but they did protect him. So he has full 80% advantage and full 100% advantage to push into this when they just get their aggression into the second point, but they're getting stalled here a bit at least. So some aggression is in. The Pyro is still staying close.
Sorry, Domaytoe, but Cloud is just stabbing the medic in the back, and that's the Uber dropped.
Well, that is, you have the front supporting them, and they were just why are they even holding on to this? They still have the numbers to actually hold on to this, and this distraction allowed the spy to come in.
Very important play here. Kalis is in a lot of trouble. He has no health. He's not able to do anything. Hydra there. And it takes an arrow for his trouble. Kazarok still on a Huntsman, gets himself a shot on Greyjury. Greyjury is low on health. He's gonna eat himself a sandwich though, and maintain that Uber advantage over the red team. France is still holding the choke point. Hydra's gonna fall down. Nobody else is watching that point, and Kazarok is still, that Huntsman, he's not getting those instant headshots though, but he's very dangerous with that bow in hand.
Definitely. The kind of blue heavy, I feel like there was a slight slip up in the combo of the Turkish team, because the heavy was all alone forward fighting 4 players in the choke point. They do lose some players here, but it is actually equal. Both soldiers going down, the spy the bit dying there on the side flank. They still do have this 30% advantage, but if you're sitting on this last point, probably getting locked off a bit. Not very healthy thing to push out, especially because the well, Authentic Team can hold Invicto if they want to, but they're getting pressured here in River right now from the Scout and the Pyro. They have to watch out that they don't beat players before this incoming Uber exchange.
Indeed, Domaytoe, they lost the Uber advantage they had. They could have pushed it out, but unfortunately Granger decided to hold this on, and he's getting forced up there in the river. There's a bunch of red players just pushing and knocking down the door, and they're going below them. Cobbs and Euthanasia flashing the rest of that Uber charge on that is Pyroclast. The soldier destroys Wrath on the point here. Iran is still fighting for it, but there's 2 people on the point. They need to get people on the point, guys, and Turkey loses their first point after this amazing mid that they've won without their medic. First point, France 1, Turkey 0 here, Domaytoe, and well, it was very decisive there by France. Once they managed to get their bearings, there was nothing stopping them, and Granger kind of wasting that Uber advantage that they had, and that was pretty much 100% advantage.
Well, and then after that he got poked by a spy in the face for sins and died there. It didn't really mean anything, but psychological warfare. They are always opting for this low Victor mid beginning, the French team that is there rushing onto their side, onto the Turkish side, as Levi needs to protect his medic here. The Pyro is just in. The medic does survive, but he does get a lot of distraction, and the pipe comes in, cleaning off of the damage, and they are probably going to very decisively win this, even though the Hydra Heavy does win the heavy fight, but you know, still like 3 against 4 players, and I think, wow, the French medic as well died, Jake.
Yeah, they're not having as many respawns as they would have otherwise, but Hydra is hiding. He may be able to give Kazarok. No! He gets a shot into the face for that, but he's alive and sound, and he's running away. He doesn't have anybody else to help him, though, and there's a scout in his back. They're gonna try to shoot him down, but Hydra's getting healed by his medic. Granger is coming in clutch with those crossbow shots, and he's still on the prowl. That heavy is literally the only reason why Turkey hasn't lost that second point yet.
Well, they're kind of still lurking from this choke here, and Kazarok does get a shot in the head by Kenlock there, just locking this choke door down, basically, also getting a fadeaway headshot onto the heavy. I like that, like, Turkey won this kind of gambit on the first like mid-fight, but after that I feel like they have different notions in their combo play right now. Like, you see again, Hydra is a bit too forward. Like, they want to exchange, no, they don't even have Uber, so he got a bit too overzealous there. He does get the kind of retaliation frag there, Kenlock, but it kind of still equals out in the Uber advantage, but they have like 2 picks if you just account it totally, but the snipers do watch the choke, so kind of hard sometimes to push through a choke, because right now they're rotating through the Victor area.
Oh, and that might be dangerous for the Turkish team. However, both teams have 100% Uber charge. The Ubers may come at any moment, and they do. Kalis is leading the charge on that, but Tade is getting flashed there and flying around like the Spyro he is, and he's trying to do as much damage as possible. They managed to pick up 3 kills, though. Kazarok goes down, Karnax, and a few more people. Dwo as well. That's a almost complete cleanup there. Combs is still alive on the weapons guy, holding down the Z connector, but here comes the entire front line of the blue team trying to chase him down from the Z connector, and he's down for the count. They're pushing on the middle point right now, but Tade is leading the charge this time, trying to take down T-Bird, and his counterpart, but Kale's still alive, and he's still shooting people. He's still getting kills, finally going down, and Turkey will be able to secure themselves on this middle point.
Kenlock is just securing these advantages for the push out once again. He's just got the headshot onto Euthanasia. There's a spy onto the medic though. The pick classes do equal that one out as Gregory does go down, equaling the Uber percentage once again. Maybe a slight add for the French medic right there. And I feel like we see it once again. They won that very good fight onto the second point, onto their second point, the Turkish team, just by kiting it well. But after that, you could just see the flank getting denied in Victor. They should have maybe rotated a bit more to their combo or something. They were a bit lacking on the speed there just by the push out, and in the end it cost them.
Yeah, and right now they've lost Isaacs as well. No more engineer class, just kind of resupplying the lockers, but midpoint has not been yet capped. They finally finalizing it, which means that the respawn wave has come out a lot later than they would have otherwise wanted. But they do have a 10% Uber advantage. They're pushing into the choke point here. Dry, or don't have any Ubers, but neither does the French team. They're pushing quite aggressively. Hydra's almost going down there from the French team, but they're still keeping alive. Euthanasia is working towards a nice Uber advantage here. Cobbs is finding himself a kill there, getting quite aggressive. Hydra tries to get something out of this, but they don't have the Uber charge just yet, and Euthanasia does. Granger, he needs to get the hell out of there if he wants to survive. As he does. They lost 3 players though, and they may have lost the second point as well.
Still played well though under the circumstances of the Turkish team, that they actually brought the time and probably get all their important important spawns. Their scout getting red. I was just about to say he's hiding in secret, but no, Kenlock says you don't do anything on my last point. After all, I feel like the Turkish team really kited that well because they actually survived. Kazarok is in from yet. I want to analyze, can these players please stop doing cheeky plays? So they kited that well, but in the end also like the France team played it really well because they pushed like with 15 or 20% advantage, actually just forced them out. And right now there's just this fight going on into the river area.
Yeah, Uber has come out of Granger trying to save the team and push the other team out as well, but they didn't get as many kills as they wanted, and now Euthanasia has 50% Uber charge advantage over the blue medic. Nice jump there by Iran, taking down Euthanasia to half health, but it was one rocket short. Unfortunately, Euthanasia survives to the dismay of the Turkish team with 90% Uber charge. They're knocking down on the last point. Now Turkey has to build their Uber fast enough to survive this, as there's no coming back after this. They know they have the advantage. I don't think that French team is going to waste any more time than this. They're going to push in through the shutter door, probably, maybe, we don't know yet. They're still undecided themselves, but Kalis is getting ready. He shows, guys, come on, let's go, let's do this. Uber charge comes out, Scout just charges in as well, putting out a lot of damage, but no kills yet. They find Granger though. Kayla's is still doing so much work. Canlock, Kayla's C going down, but the Ron and Hydra's still on the point. Karnak's going behind, trying to shoot down the heavy weapons guy. Heavy weapons guy goes down, and Scout is gonna finish this one up. No! But yes, you will.
Oh well, we see a shutter push and it doesn't make me shudder in the end because it was the right choice because they were just so close and had Uber advantage. In the end though, they didn't need to like cover a lot of ground, even though they did with that, but they also had like this huge Uber advantage. You can just make it work from there. It was a bit critical because they had nobody watching river, but in the end they didn't even push from river, so post-factory scene that was still not the wrong decision. Right now though, once again the big door rollout by the Turkish team now as well though, just adapting, going the French side choke and getting Kazarok down early on.
Oof, and that's pretty big pick there, because Kazarok is known to cause a lot of pain. Now Iran jumps in, chasing now Asex, and Asex is gonna run away. Now Iran is occupying the enemy team balcony, but there's nobody supporting right now. They need to finish off the middle point first, and there's a lot of red players over there. They need to do something about this, and Kalis is there to tell no to the Turkish team to actually get on the point, but they've lost 3 players there, and they're still losing a little bit more. However, Ubers are about equal now, and there's gonna be an Uber exchange fairly soon. Domaytoe, Kayla's low in health. Uber has been popped on him, and now Granger is just sharing this Uber charge very, very generously. He's gonna get cornered by T-Bird, but he goes down himself. Granger's low on health, but he's gonna still support the team. It looks like that Turkish team managed to come out on top, but just barely.
Yeah, that was strong rotation about from the Uber percentage that actually mattered there. They had like 10% or something in the Uber itself, just popped it later, had this duration longer on the Uber count, which mattered in the end because they just had a lot of split up work onto the French combo itself, so their demo got juggled out of the area and just got shot there by the sniper. Kazarok is still on top. They're trying to contest the second point here. On top, they have to watch out. Ezek does go down. Kalis is still wanting to fight this. Gregory is in a lot of trouble. Does get sticked out. Around bit too late of a jump there just to salvage anything. They are probably not hungry to fight this, but they have to watch out. I mean, at this point it's kind of hard because you don't really gain anything because your medic is down. You shouldn't get rushed though, which is happening right now in their own choke or in the French side. So, but Iran is hiding over choke.
Exactly, Domaytoe. What you want when you don't have your own medic is to either go in full force into the enemy medic to take him down or fall back. You don't hang around with no heals to your name. And unfortunately, that's what the Turkish team did, and now as a result, they're paying with their middle point. They're resupplying themselves. Euthanasia has gone down, however. That means it's a nice equalizer there. That's the equalizer they were looking for. T-Burden getting a little bit aggressive there, having a little bit of 1v1 with Patates, but neither Spire is going to win this one. Now, Kazarok is getting gunned down by Frost. That's no more sniper on the side of the French, which means that Canlock will be able to do quite a bit of work if he's given some room, and now he's looking for that.
If he's given some room, he just fully charged body shot the invisible spy coming through a choke point. Interesting shot there. To be quite fair, what we saw before, like Iran, really nice hiding spot there, and definitely did give them the Uber advantage, but once again we have to watch out if they get brave with this Uber push. The main issue on Gullywash is if they are just all this close, especially with the Pyro and this choke, it can make even Uber advantage pushes kind of indecisive. Right now though, the P-class is to work on the Turkish just team, kind of thinning their lines out. They definitely do have to watch out, and Kazarok is still using Huntsman. He's not even memely using that one, he's just going full Huntsman, as there comes the equalizer onto the Uber soon enough, but they're already brute forcing their way through this choke here, the French team.
Oh yeah, Patata is on the prowl there, leading the Vanguard. He's gonna survive this one thanks to Gragery. However, that Ubercharge advantage that Gragery had, Domaytoe is gone. Now Euthanasia has his own 100% to work with, and they're sieging down that choke point. But they've decided, the French team, to move in through the garage. Since they don't want us here, we're gonna move behind, and that's what they're doing. They're occupying the place. And there's not a lot of players around. There's Clown there, but he's gonna get shot down eventually. And the Uber comes out the red team as well. Here comes the counter pop onto Patatas. He's just a lot of sharing going on. They managed to pick up 2 from the blue team. They're losing a few more. They're trying to take them down, but the mini sentry is doing so much work. And Euthanasia still is surviving. Not anymore as Canlock finds a headshot. And that's something that they were looking for so bravely.
It's the absolute power of this pick classes is shining right now. In the last 10 seconds, that was absolutely incredible how they completely controlled the Uber fight, because the demo didn't get flashed there and then got headshot, like it juggled out, but then a spy comes in and then Kenlock gets a fadeaway headshot onto the French medic, and then Kazarok just came in at the end there with an interesting play. So interestingly enough, the pick classes actually do a lot of work just around this Uber pushed, and I feel like just the Turkish team, they looked like really strong on the first point, on the first round, but I feel like they have to be a bit more aggressive. Like in this defensive kind of playstyle, just walking, you know, walking back a bit timidly at some point. Yeah, they have to take gambles to take.
Yeah, they seem to be losing steam every single time they win for the first mid point, and you know they have good aggression there, but then after that, there's nothing really happening. Both medics don't really have the Uber charge just yet, and Kazark managed to take down Canlock just a second ago, which means that Huntsman is still very, very dangerous. Ron, it has none of that, and he takes down Euthanasia, which is kind of ironic, but its medic goes down, and that's huge for Granger, as he's now in the lead with the Uber charge. They've lost 3 players. Now the Reds are just swarming the point, trying to take down as many players as possible. Do a little bit of a play there. Kazark walks behind Hydra, but Hydra is no fool, and he's gonna gun that fool down.
Quite funny actually, the battles of the arrows, because the Turkish medic just arrowed his own heavy, and then the sniper was just Kazarok in with the Huntsman trying to kill the other heavies. So in the end, oh, the hiding soldier though, Dwo getting Gracery, staying a bit alone there because the Pyro and the Scout left him on the point, giving full 30 to even 40 advantage to the French medic, and they're actually getting this point, but they have to watch out that they don't all get cleaned up. They do get the flank down from the French team, which definitely does put a nail in the coffin of any kind of forward attempts of rushing. The Scale is probably going to die here as well. Just actually staying alive there and getting an arrow, and the sniper's still on top here. This is so messy.
Yeah, this does not look good for the Turkish team. They're tossing players one by one.
From Kenlock, just close range headshotting Kalis, and he can still kill the heavy, 6 HP close.
Yeah, Canlock gets another one on the Scout. That's the 5th kill in his current life, and he's still on a roll. Turkish man is definitely doing a lot of work for his team, and that's something that Turkey really needs, as they're losing 2 points, and there's 15 minutes in on this map. If they don't manage to find themselves 3 points, they're gonna lose the first round, and that's gonna be all she wrote for them for this tournament. They really need to win this, and they know about it, as they're going quite aggressively to the choke point. However, Euthanasia is about on 100%. Hydra's getting headshot by Kazarok, and he's still looking at so many players in the choke point. They're gonna brute force their way in, because Granger does not have the Uber charge, and I don't think that the French team is not counting their Ubers right now. Nice sentry by Zeriel, but it's gonna get shot down by Kazarok yet again. Finally though, Canlock managed to find a headshot onto Kalis, slowing this offense down. But Turkey is still on the back foot, still defending against those savage attacks coming out of the French team.
Can he lock the entire second point down? Yes, he can. Euthanasia, though, getting stabbed by the spy, just the wordplays enabling the pick classes once again. Full advantage now for the Turkish team, and just really strong performance right now. Staying a bit passive with this level 3. Sentry Guy definitely kiting this better, though. Allowing the Pyro to just rush in. T-Bird realizing the opening into the play stance of the Turkish team does get the force out. It does mean in the result that both Ubers have equaled out. Kalis does get stabbed though, so the pick class definitely focusing on Kalis a lot, and it might actually enable them to do something if they get like more aggressive. I feel like, you know, like they are once again staggering a bit too much on this mid.
Yeah, and Granger is in a lot of danger right now from the spine. He unfortunately, Raph gets the stab onto the medic. Only 3 players up for the Turkish team. They managed to capture themselves the middle point, but that's about it, as the full reinforcement wave is coming in from France all the way to the middle point of Gullywash. Nice bomb by Ramba. He's missing the second rocket. Unfortunately, Euthanasia survives on literally no health. As he's gonna grabs himself a sandwich. No, he's gonna survive. No, yeah, he finds himself a sandwich. That's okay. That's all good here. Oh, nice play there by Patates, pushing people off the point, slowing it down a little bit, but at the cost of his own life. I'm not sure if it was worth. Can lock this on the Karnax, but not. And Euthanasia goes down to Clown. Clown gets another.
Oh my god, that, well, was a drop on the medic, and then Kazarok just turning to the right side, the Spy snapping his view to the left side, and Stabby is going into the frag folder. So there we go, only 4 or 3 actually, only up 4 for the French team. A little bit of banter there going in the chat for both the Sniper and the Spy. Very interesting, bit of psychological warfare. But right now, you know, like they're staking on this point once again. They still have these picks. They're just respawning now. Push into the second point, and you still have this Uber advantage for the last point if you're really decisive on that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Turkish team will be able to push this in through the choke point as siege as it is. Hydra is staying behind, but the rest of the team is pushing through the garage right now. They have Uber charge in 10%. Euthanasia is nowhere near that. They'll be able to push on the second, possibly even last, but they may have to use the supercharge as long as Greyjoy stays alive here. They're leading with the demo push and Patates forward, but there's a lot of players of the red team up top. Uber is still not Papa Greyjoy, but he's losing players that he can heal one by one there. Nice play there by Kailash, still staying alive. Stay does so much damage, locking down the blue team. Now Kailash and Patates are locked down with Greyjoy. They have to pop the supercharge, and they do. And now T-Burden is there to slow them down enough to waste the supercharge completely, so they didn't get much use of it. And it's 4 players down for their team already, as Euthanasia is nearing 100% hit on his own.
So separated. They finally got the route to walk in, but then they just got a lot of damage from the river area and actually lost their players there, but Ron just on Euthanasia non-stop giving him a run for his money because he's just on the medic, forcing him, killing him, dropping him. But they have to make more use out of their like solo and single players actually doing a lot of plays for them. Kazarok also goes down. They still do have these picks. They're kind of losing out a bit on the what is that? The flank fight. That's difficult combination of words. Flank fight. But I feel like that is definitely their bane. I feel like the combo is definitely good, well proportioned against the French team, but I feel like their overall team fight just needs to be a bit better.
Yeah, they have a lot of good pick classes, but yeah, the combo is definitely their weakest point aside from Hydra. Hydra's doing his own thing, he's doing so much work. Patate as well, but Kailash and Greyjoy just cannot really match the combo power of the enemy team. But T-Burden now is getting killed by Kailash, and Patate is just chasing down enemies. And Cobbs, however, gets an Uber charge of his own, and they're trying to clean up house themselves in the choke point there. Greyjoy doesn't have anybody to help him. Kailash also going down in that exchange to Cobbs, and with 4 players down, the Turkish team will have to do something. Camlock is not letting go of Kazarok. He's gonna make this man switch to the regular rifle, even if it costs him this game, as now he's just being burned down by T-Burden.
It is quite insane, like they're getting constantly picks, Turkish team, just by brute force getting pushed out though, once again from Cops, just from the high ground. The Spy as well coming in on the demo, he's close, left alone almost in Big Door. They sometimes do have these single plays, but if you just put all of your eggs into one player, then sometimes he does get the hero play, but then the other players are not positioned to actually follow up. Right now they're brute forcing the French team out of the midpoint though, do lose their scout for that. And there's a Pyro just jumping onto the head, Drow in the end dying for that play stance. But right now both Ubers are equaling out and the Turkish team still kept the point.
Yeah, they're still in control. They're sieging down this choke point. If they wanted to, they could rotate Domaytoe, but I'm not sure if they're going to do this with the Uber charge. I think they're going to go for an exchange here, especially having Hydra so far forward. Kazarok still tossing in arrows through that little narrow choke point there. Kailash is up front. He's going to get gunned down by Karnax, and he's still chasing for more kills. He's going to find another. Aron, Camlock, Frost, all going down. The Uber charge is not going to be useful here at all now. Greyjoy is taking some stand for his trouble. They're going to pop the Uber charge just in time before Raph has gone behind them and done some damage, but the Uber is fading now. Raph is still behind. They're gonna try to go for something. Hydra is still alive for such a long time. He takes down Glow again, but he's gonna go killed himself. Greyjoy needs to get away, but he doesn't. He doesn't. Fade away arrow, man. Fade away arrows. All you need to kill the medic.
It's quite ridiculous actually. Just this fight was completely in the hands of the Turkish team because the French team tried to push into them, but then after Carnix just ran through choke and just killed 3 or 4 players that hit on their big door side from the Turkish team, just Canex, probably just giving them once again this huge advantage of just players. Right now though he's trying to rush in now, the Turkish scout that is actually trying to get anything, but I feel like these solo plays once again, you know, mattering out, they still do have the very large Uber advantage there onto the French team, so they are not timid right here, so they'll probably just push in.
Yeah, aside from desperation, now Turkish team needs to put themselves in the next gear, but Uber charge comes out of the euthanasia here with Kalish leading the charge. A lot of damage being done on Kalish. He goes down the run as well. They're looking for more here. Karnax is below the point. Now Hydra's sitting on it. There's only 2 players up. That's the medic and the heavy, but medic is now all by himself on the point. Will he be able to stop this? No, he won't. He's just a simple medicinal apothecary man who cannot stop a wave of red men swarming the point, and that's 3-0 for the French team with only just above 5 minutes left on the clock on CP Gullywash. I mean, Domaytoe. We've seen miracles happen, but I am not sure if a miracle is gonna happen tonight.
The unfortunate thing really is that I will probably get to this a bit later to the start as the mid-fight just unravels. It's actually quite close if you just look at all the plays, but there comes the juggled Pyro actually getting shot. He's still into the medic! He's still onto the medic! He does kill him! Why is the Pyro class in this game even? He just completely kills the French medic. Everybody else though from the Turkish team does fall away from by the wayside.
Oh, the hero play by the Pyro. How did that even work? Granger is still alive, but he is just with Hydra. There's nobody else to help them, and they still haven't capped the middle point where Cobbs and T-Bird made their camp, and they're gonna protect this, even if it costs them their life, because that's basically how a TDM works. As they're gonna go for Hydra. Hydra is just popping Uber charge. Maybe a little bit of a missed call, maybe a little bit too quick on the trigger there. But Uber charges are going to be about equal anyway, with Euthanasia leading with 30%, so it's not big of a loss, and they still haven't capped the middle point. They need to get their priorities straight, Domaytoe.
Yeah, like when you're the underdog team, you have to play more risky. That is without without any doubt what you need to do, because if you're just sitting there onto your last point, you're probably not achieving anything. And we saw before, the French team can just park their bus into the choke point and just wait for them. But after that, they didn't even need feel the need to park the bus as like pushing into the last point. They didn't even park the bus into Victor like some other teams. They just pushed in because they were just so confident in themselves, and right now they're bleeding out on the players. You have to take early and quick rotations when the picks actually do favor you, as they did for the Turkish team before, but right now it's kind of just going away slowly the time, and it's definitely not helping them.
Ooh, Canlock actually taking down the demo man before he was actually useful. Now T-Burden has to make most of that Uber charge, but Tades is doing a lot of work himself, and that Uber charge has been completely wasted there. T-Burden is in a lot of trouble. They're pushing in through the garage area. Canlock is getting kills, and that kill is a very important one with that medic down. The Turkish team will be able to push into the French and maybe cap the second point as well. There's a bit of a scrap fight going on between both teams. There's just a little bit of a mess. Here, the Hydra is finding himself another kill onto Karnax, is looking for one more, but he's gonna get gunned down himself by Asex. Finally, there is a cleanup crew coming in for Patates, but that's a little bit too late. They've wasted a lot of time, and now Karnax oof.
It might almost be garbage time, but it doesn't inhibit players from still getting their frag movie compilations and frag shots into the game, because it is still the time, and they can still physically and potentially time-wise still do this if they're really quick, but they need to be, as I was saying, quick here. They still have the 60% Uber advantage on the Turkish side. They're staying so close here. T-Burn though, looking off this choke, just blindly jumping into the Pyro, does die though in the end to the Pyro, but the medic should be safely out now. He's trying to make out to the river. He's getting juggled, does get out to lobby right now though, and Kalish is just denying them here onto his choke point, does drop down, gets a bit shot from the heavy, but they are probably going to see off this second point as Kalish does get headshot, but the flank needs to come in right now. They need to roll this onto the last point.
Yeah, this is do or die, ladies and gentlemen. This Hydra going down there to a crater. What a play that was. Well, Gragery 40%, Euthanasia on 95. They're on the second point finally, Turkish team, but there's only 2 minutes left to go, and I'm not sure they are able to cap 3 points in their allocated time to go for that golden cap. It's not gonna work as Ubercharge coming out of Euthanasia, jumping on the Grey Tree. Nice dodges there, but it is not gonna be enough with a lot of red bodies there swarming the meta. That's unfortunate here. Camlock also going down with Dwo, just kind of cleaning up every single straggler that is behind, and I just think, Domaytoe, that this is all she wrote with, well, 1 minute 45 seconds exactly on the clock. Tick-tock goes. There's nothing that Turkish team can do at this point. France just managed to dominate this, and I'm not even sure where my last half an hour went.
Yeah, like, they still have the time to, you know, pet their stats, and what I would do anyway. Unfortunately, they lost a lot of players in Kazarak, also getting just the final arrow into the Turkish scout there. The main issue is, like, I would have really liked for them to get at least 1 honor point just to redeem their honor, because it sometimes means, I mean, you lost, but you can still kind of, if you win the last round, that kind of gives you maybe a slight morale boost, because I feel like they might be a bit, not even on tilt, but, you know, just feeling a bit not so hyped up, because it's definitely an inhibitor if you just don't manage to actually push the last weird pronunciation in English, push the last point, because, you know, they just sat there, they had all these hero plays, but in the end they didn't actually push last all that often.
Yeah, pretty much not a single time I've seen the Turkish team on the last point of the French side. Nice headshot there by Camlock on the Euthanasia. He's getting stabbed himself, but the kill has been done, and that's down for the logs, so at least Camlock will be looking good and snazzy in these. Unfortunately, well, as the timers going out, 30 minutes, with 30 seconds left to go, and both teams just kind of knowing that there's nothing that the Turkey team can do in this situation. They will be forced to go into the second round knowing that there's, well, they had a chance, they didn't use it, and now they're gonna have to say goodbye to the playoff stage with France advancing and guaranteeing themselves a spot in the playoffs. But it's still down to the second game. Yeah, the second game will still decide whether France will get the top seed or will they get the second. And that's why you guys should stay on and see how French team is gonna do. As the time's up, I don't know where I was going that day. It's just kind of like lost my train of thought.
The Turkish team definitely does need to heat up their kebab strategies, because when they want to go out on a blast here and definitely do reclaim themselves and actually claim themselves the honor they so proudly deserve, it is getting their players on and in onto the product side, because you don't want these French players just to get the easy top spot, you know. So we'll have to see how hungry they are actually to just deny the baguette from just topping the charts, actually making it crumble a bit, because as I was saying before, and as we mentioned, it kind of was unfortunate that they fell into the really slight danger and easy to fall in danger, to be quite fair, of 5 CP, which is, we're a bit too passive as the underdog team, which is basically how this, you know, how this map can be combined into and like just saluted to, because they had really good plays all around, and that definitely did make it very interesting and exciting to watch. So that is probably why all these 30 minutes, Jake, what you mentioned, just went down so fast. And these hero plays, though, can be combined into numbers.
That definitely happens in the... Well, one more thing, Domaytoe, that you have noticed is that you can't, as an underdog team, you can't let yourself get in that underdog mentality of playing passively and trying not to make too many mistakes, because you're fighting against French team, which is one of the top seeds for the entire tournament. They've been seeded in that group as the top seed regardless, and you know you're gonna fight against legends such as T-Burden, Kalis, Cobbs, and it's gonna be difficult. It's definitely gonna be difficult. You can't or cannot let yourself fall in this mentality that we need to play safe. You need to play as aggressive as you can, because you literally have nothing else to lose at that point. If you lose that map by being passive, you lost that map unconvincingly. But if you put up a nice fight until the very, very end, and, you know, manage to even get a point or two off the other team, then that fight, that game is much more meaningful.
Not only that, but there is definitely a huge difference in fighting to win and fighting not to lose, which is kind of the key difference what we can see in play stances on 5CP usually. But it is a Freaky Friday action, because I actually do bring up our favorite numbers into the game right now, and it is actually not Sniper's top fragging, Jake. It is the French flank right now on a 6s map, kind of maybe a slight bit expected, but on the 3rd position right there, not actually that far down, is just cops coming in, not even playing that much I think these days, but still just putting in the heavy work on the heavy weapons guy on a 5CP Highlander map, which is very interesting, but after that Kenlock with a very deserved 4th spot on the logs for the Turkish team.
Mm-hmm. It's been pretty impressive. I mean, Duo was definitely topping the charts there. Karnax the 2nd. And then Cobb, surprisingly, heavy weapons guy 3rd. That's looking pretty good, but there is a poll coming down in chat right now. Will Turkey be able to save face and take off a round off of the French team, relegating them to the 2nd seed of the tournament, or will France take it 6-0? Please let us know, as well as thank you very much for watching. Please do remember that this stream here is being sponsored by Manco.store, your favorite place for shopping. Need anything, just hit him up, look him up, and you'll get anything that you want. So, Domaytoe, coming into the 2nd game of tonight, it's going to be KOF Product France versus Turkey. We've seen what the French flank can do. We've also seen what Kenlock can do. And we've also seen what Clown can do. Will Turkey be able to make up for the slight disposition of their combo classes, or will France just take this one 3-0 and move on in their life?
I hope everybody voted on the polls right now, because you don't want to get influenced by the opinion of some German caster who can't even spell English names correctly. So right now, you definitely do have to keep in mind, as this analysis of the product map just goes preemptively, is that you don't have to cover a lot of distance so much on product. I feel like the distance you have to travel was definitely the bane for the Turkish team. They're kind of not being into the position to completely roll everything as fast as they could, and kind of had, I feel like, a few too many flank routes at some point to worry about, and not actually know what they should do with them just to get their aggression into, or inversely also giving respect to the French team really denying those choke points quite well. On this map here, though, it is very, very clumped up. It's all clustered up. You only have to worry about one midpoint, and if your hero players just do get the frags, do get the big plays, you're really, really close there. You're literally on their doorstep. You can claim this ground that you're getting, and you can get instantly into the faces of the enemy team.
Well, that was a nice explanation there, but you still haven't responded. Will Turkey take this one, or is it going to be France all the way?
Yeah,
just say. I know you don't want to. Just say it.
No, I really want, but, because people are just lingering on and want to know, then they're actually listening to what I say before, and they're actually listening to analysis. Anyway, I think the Turkish team probably does get one round here. I think they do need to get 2 rounds, though, as the new policy for points getting taken out. So I definitely do think the scoreline at the end will be 3-2 for the French team.
As we're back in the game, ladies and gentlemen, this is France versus Turkey, 3-0 on the CP Gullywash. Now we're down to KOF Product, and we'll be looking which team gets another 3 points for themselves as the first team fight of this game is coming down, but it's coming down crashing onto the Turkish team. They completely wiped out the opposition here, the French. Only Hydra and Aron are alive, but they're gonna just kind of linger around, maybe try to survive here. Kazarok, ultimate disrespect using the piss rifle, shooting down Hydra and basically just scaring him off, because you can't kill the heavy weapons guy, but at least you can make him run away, and that's what he did. Complete and utter destruction coming out of the French team. What? It's going Kalis with a triple!
What a sticky trap, my friend. They're holding aggressive here because they have full Uber. They have 70% advantage still. They just completely surrounded them on that mid-fight. So early damage. I feel like Kalis was a slight bit fast as well, so just this all this splash damage forced the Turkish team onto their side of the cliff, and then the French team just completely surrounded them with coordinated aggression. Right now they're just getting a bit spawn camped here. Well, not spawn camped initially, but on their side of the map. They do get the force out of them, and they have their medic survive on a sliver of HP, 35 or something. So they do have the 60% advantage, but they still need to push out onto the map itself.
Now just complete control of the French team. Look how far forward they're sitting. They don't have any health. Euthanasia has kind of hanging out on that launchbox area, but Cobbs is just making sure that he's safe and sound. The entire team is just sitting around there. I mean, Turkey is getting some kills, but they're getting destroyed themselves as well before they even leave spawn. They're locked down in those choke points there, and they can't really push out. Instead of pushing down literally where the enemy team is holding, and look how much damage they're taking for this, they should just go around, but they're deciding not to do that. Killis is locking down one side, the entire combo is sitting on the other, and mid is locked down by the rest of the team, including the engineer, Asex. So basically, there's just nothing that the Turkish team can do aside from just maybe hope for an Ubercharge and push out, but right now, 100% of the Euthanasia, 70% on Greyjury. They finally got themselves a little bit of ground to move in, but what is going on? Cobbs, you crazy man, why have you eaten that meat? He's just running with the fist, but he's gonna run away now.
Well,
disrespect.
They got Kalis Frank, that was really good. What you said, they should definitely rotate it. If you lose out on the combo versus combo fight, or even a flank versus combo fight, just rotate your combo and flank into the enemy team. The main issue was Kalis was locking off the cliff, but right now there comes a way better overcharge onto the French team because the Turkish players just want to get aggressive. They're trying to kite this here onto the heavy. Hydra is still in. They do get the frags on the wayside though, on the Turkish, onto the Turkish team, the French team. The spy comes in, maybe he can get something. Oh, he does get the step onto Kaza Rock on that rock, and he goes down because the clown spy rocks. Anyway, so they got, after that they got Kalis down, but then the soldier kind of threw his way, like his life away. I feel like they should just, you get a pick, okay, play conservatively, knit together right now, just don't lose players, and right now they're actually having some fight onto the midpoint.
Oh yeah, Patati is just walking forward, is gonna get killed himself, but they managed to take down T-Burden there, and Raph also going down. They're taking quite a few kills, but they have lost Patalis and Hydra themselves. The point is halfway done, basically. All they need to do is just walk on the Cast Rock with the Seeking Sleepers, making sure nobody is able to stay alive on point for long enough. And Greyjury doesn't have Uber charges. Uber is coming out on the scout. Karnak's chasing out Greyjury. He's gonna try to just melee him down, but there's a nice surfing going on from Greyjury. Will he be able to survive the bleed? Oh, Dwo is coming in close, but he's missing those shots. And Greyjury somehow survives, and a point is now slowly getting capped, and the first, well, point of this game is going towards France. This is kind of Unlock City, and I just wanted to say, if any of the Turkish team is listening to this cast, don't you give up. Look at all these people around you cheering you on. You're almost there. So don't give up and fight until you take down the French team. Show them what you got.
Heavy breathing for the Turkish medic right there. Definitely a bit more understandable from the perspective of many main medics as well, by the way. Duo just jumping, Whoa just jumping all the way behind. And they do get a frag there on the front flank onto Patatas. And definitely, like, you should cheer them on because they shouldn't lose hope here. They got 4 frags and 3 frags in their favor if they do account the frag that got onto their own lines out. Then at Roast in behind though, they have to watch out for that one, but they are actually securing this midpoint here with the breast piece heavy onto the point, and the first cap point of the second round onto product is going in the favor of the Turkish team.
Ooh, they found Dwo though, Domaytoe. Look at this, Ron is fighting him. Nice health back there. He just got it just in time before Dwo managed to finish him off, and Ron is coming out on top on this one, so no more danger from behind. Greyjury now on 100% Uber charge, but so is Euthanasia. However, the point belongs to the Turkish team. They have Hydra with that brass piece on the cliff. It's gonna be very difficult to take him down, but the Clash is there as well. I think I figured out how to read his name. Uber coming out onto Hydra. Braspi's being spun up, but it's not enough. Euthanasia are getting clowned in the back. And there's a lot of people down for both teams, really, and it's just not looking too promising for the Turkish team. But Hydra is still alive. He still has that brass piece, and you know how dangerous that weapon is.
What a circus that mid and Uber fight was, but in the end, ironically, Clown actually does get the stab onto the medic, just actually securing them the equal percentages once again. There comes a big jump from Iran, just copying Draw a bit, does get chased down though by Highlander Karnex or something. I did, well, have a lot of aggression onto the Turkish team, not I did, but the French team did. Anyway, so what we saw before, I feel like in the first round they weren't kind of sure, do we really want to fight this map? And then they realized, okay, I guess we can, because they still do have the time advantage. Kazarok does go down, and they are slowly peaking this aggressive play stance forward. They still do have 20% advantage onto the French team though, as the Brass Piece Heavy is getting some cap time.
Yeah, the Brass Piece Heavy is surprisingly enough, they're doing a lot of work. Hydra is there finishing off the point right now, falling back for some more heals from Greyjury, and they're sitting around on the cliffside in safety with Clash and Canlog, making sure nobody's come close, but Kalis is there. Ubercharge is coming out of the red team. Much later is the blue one. Now they're chasing around, they're exchanging some damage, but not a lot of kills are happening right now. Froz needs to do some more work if they want to finish this one off. Kalis taking a little bit of pot shot damage from Hydra on that rock, but he's not gonna die himself. Patales has none of it.
Oh, Pyro! Gets the frames onto Euthanasia. Death by flames, death by fire. And they can probably still fight this. They're getting chased though by Py-bun now. He's onto the medic. He does chase the medic. He does get the heavy down. Gets killed by a mini sentry though. But interesting passage of play that just went down. They still do have 60% advantage onto the Turkish team and actually getting cap time once again forward. And funnily enough, like these solo heavy Ubers are somehow working out because they're just fighting for like defensive playstyle, and then the clown spy actually does come in and enables them and equals out the actual predisposition that's a bit negative for the Turkish team that they're putting themselves in. But right now this midpoint is free for the grabs.
Looking promising, but Raph is there stealth. But what a stab there by Clown. He's saving grace of the Turkish team right now. Greyjury popping the Uber charge before that still connected. They're pushing in forward with Hydra, but they're not gonna get any kills, but that's enough to just force the enemy team out of the point. 75% onto Euthanasia Domaytoe. They're getting close. Clash is getting stabbed there by Raph. So finally, equalizers coming out of the French spy, which is kind of ironic because the Turkish one is doing a little bit better than the French one. After Hydra is a lot of trouble is gonna go down, but Greyjury is still alive, just putting some arrows into his teammates. The point, however, has been conceded to the French. And right now, they need those respawns to come in with Euthanasia off the ground right now. I don't know what happened there, but Euthanasia is down.
Sniper in a very aggressive team. That's really fun as a medic to peek open sidelines, but that is sometimes what you need to submit yourself when your team is getting aggressive. Because right now, it is really good coordination from the Turkish team onto this point, but French team is just just this entire time before just playing very, very aggressively all the time. But right now, actually, the Turkish team does make a fool of what I wanted to comment and just gets completely aggressive onto the French side of the map and actually does get a lot of picks and doesn't lose a lot of picks, which is the important part there. Also, the Iran soldier there jumping in, killing the heavy and the dispenser as well, and still surviving. So they do get forced here. What is happening?
Uber's coming out there. Heavy flashes coming out of the Greyjury. Clash is just leading a charge against Kalis. Kalis is jumping and trying to look for the medic. He's dodging left and right. No more damage onto him. He's gonna get finished off himself. Comes from running on the point, but he's gonna get killed as well. It's just a complete mess going on. Red players walking on the point, trying to finish off the blue ones. But finally, Turkey putting themselves on the scoreboard with 1-1. And they're still in this. French may not be as safe as they thought.
It's nice that Turkey have this round on lockdown, but it makes me kind of shiver when they kind of play with fire, you know? They use and they still have 4 seconds to cap. This was kind of clutch, but they definitely did do them a lot of justice for themselves because they just got a lot of frags forward, and then the French team didn't have any players anymore to push onto the point. Right now, Joe is once again jumping behind. Frost is the early pick to go down to the P shooter, well, P rifle either, and then actually get some frags there for France just with his aggressive playstance. Once again, Clown does get the step onto Kazarok, but you see once again, French is way more forward onto these midpoints.
What a headshot there by Canlock! Finds Dwo in the head there. Unfortunately, Cobbs is not letting this one go, and Clash is also going down for the Turkish team. Iran jumping in, trying to finish off play. Kalis is on hell. He's gonna go burn down! And Euthanasia getting stabbed by Clown! Clown is unstoppable!
They are completely playing very well together, the soldier and the spy. That was really, really nicely coordinated. I definitely do think those coordinated plays don't get enough justice because they just got 4 or 5 frags, because then Clown got the stab onto the medic, which completely inhibited any heals onto their own domain as Iran is in the spawn and kills Euthanasia. So full 70% as they do get forced on the front flank probably. Once again, doesn't matter that much. It isn't a free Uber though. They have to watch out that they don't lose too many players that they're actually making the French team bleed for it. So interestingly enough, this messy fight still does favor the Turkish team.
Yeah, Turkey's actually holding on strong. I mean, both medics don't really have the Ubercharge just yet, but the Greyjury has the advantage of just simply having the point and having the team around him. They're just kind of far forward there, hiding behind the point with Greyjury. There's a jump on the left side, wow, but yeah, what? How? Wait. how can Canlock lock on in those headshots?
Well, he maybe has aim lock. It doesn't matter though. He just completely gets the headshots all the time, and then the spy comes in, and then the soldier comes in. It's a horrible sight for a medic, honestly, to see, especially on product, because when you play in an aggressive team like French was aggressive before, but right now they don't have any players forward anymore, like in the last 20 to 30 seconds to get aggressive with, because they're just constantly getting picked off.
And Canlock is definitely doing a lot of work for his team and kind of countering KazRok. Maybe, I mean, KazRok is stubborn enough not to switch to a regular sniper rifle, which he's known for. He's still running those weird unlocks. Uber's coming out on the Hydra. Not a lot of damage done just yet in that Uber charge, but at least gets his team safely across, and they're doing work. Look at this! T-Bird and Asax, Cobbs all going down there to that after push. However, Euthanasia survives, 80% to his name. However, 1 minute to go for the blue team to finish off the cap and get themselves the second point. Raph is there lurking on the point. He's gonna decloak, not gonna get anything out of this one. And they're still holding. I mean, Euthanasia 100%. They're getting ready to push onto this Domaytoe, and we'll see how it goes. Al Granger needs to watch out because, well, the Uber can come at any moment, and Kayla's not known to waste those.
Well, we can see just on the right side, Kalis just jumped behind, he's on top. Oh, he gets the sticky onto the medic there in spawn, not backing out fast enough, and you can see the insane difference there into the Uber management from the French team. They just walk forward with their 6s classes, and like with the scout and the demo, which is usually what you do on the midpoint, everything gets wrecked though from the Turkish side, and interesting plays do happen, just judging from the breathing of Wiethoofd in the background. But in essence, okay, KazRok did something just for the Twitch chat to know what we have to deal with here as background noise. Anyway, so there is a big difference though, as the Turkish team, like, Ubers the heavy so often. I feel like they just want to secure kind of ground and don't actually want to chase kills, and I don't want to be too critical because they still have this big time lead.
Yeah, but Clown is behind. He gets Euthanasia. How is he like, how can he all do this? He's doing it all game, and the French team is just not looking back at all. And now the full force of the Turkish might is coming in forward. The Ottoman power going in, killing the opposition, and with leaving only a Texan engineer on the battlefield to hold the fort by himself. But the point has been capped. 30 seconds to go for the Turkish team, and I do think that we're looking at a dream come true for Turkey, just hoping that they don't waste this potential.
Someone is sweating for their points, and I guess it's the French, because they still need to get all the points for the top seed, for the secured one. Right now, the Turkish team definitely just had a switch up in their role. There comes a Demoman Uber right now though, and a Scout. Really fast chasing classes. Get Euthanasia once again. Just the cleanup onto these players. Only an engineer forward. It's a 2-1. Well, I maybe mispredicted before. Maybe it came across wrong because I actually meant 3-1 for the Turkish team, obviously. But yeah, anyway, as they're playing right now, it definitely does look way better for them. It's just complete switch up, you know, and it's not even that the French are not trying, they're just getting killed constantly, especially their medic.
Yeah, the game has really started slow there to Domaytoe, but then they kind of picked up, and people are started really just kind of try-harding and sweating their their bodies off, just trying to get this done. But considering how high temperatures are lately in Europe, there's no wonder they're sweating, and they're working so well. Spy just cannot get there. Raph, what are you doing, my man? Trying to stab Hydra, but he's gonna survive somehow on a sliver of health. After missing all his possible stabs, however, the point's gonna belong to the French team, with Euthanasia walking quite aggressively on it. They did manage to take down Granger for the Turkish team, so that means the Euthanasia has 100% Ubercharge advantage, and they have the control of the point there. Nice headshot there by Canlock, slowing down that defense a little bit by taking down Cobbs. And what Canlock is literally the only saving grace of the team. Clown and Canlock. These players are just doing so much work for their team that it's incredible, and I think that those 2 points that Turkey has now, Domaytoe, are their basically fruits.
Yeah, they're definitely reaping off the fruits that they have so dearly gained, because I feel like they're definitely trying to show off their skills right now, and it's definitely working. I mean, Aaron had the amazing, he just does amazing jumps just to kill a mini sentry. It does look really pretty. I mean, in the end, it only gets mini sentry, even though that's a really big pick, even all things considered onto this product map. But right now they're kind of slowly lurking onto their own Uber advantage, their own Uber percentage rather. They do lose some players, they have to watch out they don't get completely rushed by the French team. I mean, they do have equal Ubers right now, but They go forward with 4 players down and a heavy push once again. Let's see.
Yeah, Uber coming out quite late is the red one. Wiethoofd is just charging and sharing heavily. Burdenhav is gonna get killed there by Canlock, and Clown gunning down, just complete wipeout. What is going on, friends? You had this in the bag. You chased down Greyjoy, but you lost so many players. You've lost your medic as well, and now the point is up for grabs because the Turkish team is gonna have a lot quicker respawns coming into this.
See, this is exactly why I worded it for that push, because in any other game that would not work out for the team that was the heavy and their scout. But we've seen this Turkish team just makes it work. The French just focus Fists of Steel Heavy, who gets flashed once again, and then they just don't flash the other players that are following up, maybe want to get flashed, but kind of coordination is not on point, so they just get picked up by the spam and flank classes and the sniper as well. So they actually do lose a lot of players. They have to get on the point right now. They have to focus Kalis. Kalis goes down. That's a really big pick from Kenlock. The Ubers are still kind of in a slight advantage for the French team, but they can't make anything out of that. But really equal exchanges right now onto both sides.
Yeah, and well, the French are brute forcing their way in. Without their medic, they just have nothing to lose. They managed to cap the point off, and Greyjoy is well, just hanging back, and I do believe we have another technical pause. I'm not sure what's going on. There's a minute left on the clock for the French team to finish off this game. The time clocks are a little bit skewed now, and then 2.5 minutes left for the Turkish team. However, the Turkish team is leading with 1 point over France. We have a game, ladies and gentlemen.
I think the French are just requiring a pause because they have to check if they don't win this map, if they even get the top seed. Maybe they're not aware of the points, you know. Just have to check quickly. But to be quite fair, I mean, a pause is probably just another time to catch our breath, but I feel like we are definitely analytical-wise pretty on point on this match currently, because I feel like the action is kind of shifting fast, but there is not really a big change in the strategies of the teams. It's just they have the same strategies, but sometimes it actually doesn't work out because they're not in favorable positions and they're just so committed to their preset that they have that they should maybe switch things up. I'm mainly looking at this heavy solo Uber most of the time, but you know, for at least 2 rounds it worked out perfectly. Right now it's putting the Turkish team a bit onto the back foot though as we open a scoreboard, which is really always a really fun thing to do to judge off points. We have flank classes, I feel like a bit more dominant for the, interestingly enough, for the Turkish team, because when they get aggressive, especially off those picks that we mentioned from Clown, from the Kenlock sniper, just pulling in the work, and they actually do get the frags, and on the other side, on the French side, it's a bit more of the combo players being on top, but any strategic or maybe just meme comments you have to add in this post, Jake?
Well, I think that as many kills as Canlock has gotten, those important kills, they're not really reflecting on the scoreboard. He's getting the important kills whenever the team needs them, but he doesn't really provide much else. Neither does Kazarok really, because I don't think Kazarok is treating this game very seriously using unlocks. And then again, I mean, it's just my assumption. He may just be tryharding with a new unlock that we've never seen before. However, we all know that the Sydney Sleeper is not as effective as a charged headshot or a fully charged body shot. So definitely there's a little bit of a sniper battle going on. I think that the weakest part of the Turkish team is their demo main Clash. He's not given any room to work with. He's kind of getting picked off by himself, and this is why the Turkish team is forced to use Hydra as their forerunner in every single push, because there's really nobody else that they can use it on. Maybe sometimes the Pyro comes by, Patates, and does something. Maybe Iran uses a little bit of a flash, and maybe Frost is using it. But aside from that, Clash is pretty much unavailable for every single Uber push, as he's getting picked off before the Uber comes, and then the team decides, okay, we don't have much time to lose, we just need to go in now with a demo or without. However, and here is the important part, they do manage to tone down Kalis enough to make up for that, and as a result, they are able to keep up with the French offense. And I don't think that I think that if Kazarok switched to a regular sniper rifle, this would be a different story. But I mean, we deal with what we have here.
I don't even know if it's so much of a meme. I know that he uses Huntsman as well. I don't know if you're so much aware of this too, Jake, but we also use him as a work. I think we can agree on that he definitely also does put in the work on onto other unlocks. We still have to question kind of the weapon choices though. But what you said before, like with Hydra, I feel like it works for the Turkish team because for the 2 rounds they actually won, they didn't even need to get that aggressive. They don't really push across the point all that much. Right now they do, because they're kind of forced to, because the French team adapted. But before, they could just stand there because French team has always been a bit more aggressive. They go just aggressively in, but then they have all these heals and Ubers onto Hydra, strongest and healthiest player of them all, and of all the 9 classes, the heavy that is. And they just can tank up all the damage and then just completely surround the French team that kind of just prowl into their territory a bit too fast, loose, and easy, and without any actual focus fire, because Kalis is then getting juggled, and I feel like he's probably main calling his damage and such, and the team focuses a bit more around him. So I feel like the kiting definitely does help a bit more in these scenarios where a more aggressive team is allowed to get the space but doesn't actually get the frags, because you just have the heavy to tank it all up to basically sum it up. But then again, right now what the French team is doing, they're not overcommitting all at once. Once again, they're just kind of keeping their bay a bit and don't overly lose players, which is definitely working out better in their favor. But I feel like once again now it is the Turkey side to switch up their strategies as we do go live once again.
Yeah, and I had some whispers and coughs into my ear from Wiethoofd that the reason for this pause was Hydra having 500 ping, and pausing for a heavy weapons guy to regain his internet just shows how crucial this player is for that team. And now we're getting ready to roll once again. 1 minute to go for the red team to get this one done. 2.5 for the blue team. Here, nice 2 kills coming out on Kazarok and Raf. They're looking for more on huge bomb. Looking for one rocket. Euthanacia's gonna forget another one. He jumps on the medic. He just wrecks Team Erden, who just walks into that rocket, saving Euthanasia from certain death. But Clown is still lurking behind, and he's not gonna let this one go. As Euthanasia survives, but just barely. 100% of Greyjury. They can use this at any given time now, but Greyjury has nobody to heal really at this point. He's having trouble. Hydra is just shooting down people, but he's gonna get gunned down by Karnax. A little bit of carnage going on, but the point still belongs to the French team. Uber finally coming out, but that might be just a little bit too late. With 4 players down, maybe that is enough, however, as they're finishing off the cap fairly soon and going into the overtime of this cap point.
That was a tough Uber to call for the Turkish team. There comes the late jump though from Aran. Getting the medic down actually can help them because they still have these faster cap times. No, the scout does cap. They maybe could have played this overtime a bit more to actually get their players not onto long respawn waves, because right now they have this level 1 sentry gun onto the French side and actually do have the faster spawns. So we'll have to see. Before that was a really tough Uber. They all had really good positions onto the French side, and they had a level 2 sentry gun onto their Japan, but they kind of overcommitted a bit. So definitely the players from the Turkish side putting in the plays, just once again having a bit more breathing room onto the midpoint, but just everyone from France, yes, everyone from France, all the population walks onto the point. And Jake, if you have so many, just million people walk onto that point, it caps really fast.
Yeah, it's basically Napoleon Bonaparte. He's just walking on forward through Europe, and then just let's see if he's gonna stop at Turkey or he's gonna go further down. But this third round of the last round of this game is coming down, the 5th round in total, as both teams are clashing in the middle yet again. Aron, huge bomb onto the enemy team, and he's gonna only get 1 rocket onto the scout, so no much damage. But no, Clown finds Euthanasia yet again. That man is absolutely unstoppable and winning this team fight for sure for the blue team, as Greyjury is still alive. They're missing a few people, but they have the most important ones, and that is Hydra, who is sitting out with the medic. They should use this advantage and walk on the point, but I'm not sure what's gonna happen here. Ron jumps on it right now with Clash, putting some damage on the red team, still using the fact that there's not a lot of heals going on down the red team here. Finally, Kayla is going down, chasing some more, but they're all gonna be able to finish off the cap, capture themselves the point, and start the timer going down their way. Huge jump by Duo, but he's gonna get killed by Zerel's mini sentry.
A bit dragged out mid-fight there, and they kind of used right now, which was kind of unnecessary. Don't get any picks, and the Pyro just kites it all. That was a bit of a misplay, I would say. Clown definitely, I think he came from Japan once again. He's onto the medic once again. He's behind him. Euthanasia sees him. He's poking him into the face. Now it does get the Essex just helping him out there. But I don't want to diminish just the plays that these spies do from just the big place that the Turkish flank just came in, completely claiming the concrete on the beginning of the round. Right now though, the Demoman is just walking forward here. Kalis does go down with a fadeaway shot from Frost, and they are actually going to secure this point though, the French team, and Turkish team losing a lot of players and have 1 minute ahead on the time stakes though.
Ooh, Kazakh is not taking any prisoners, he's just gunning people left and right! That's the 3rd one on the piss rifle. He's still looking for more, he's just showing that it's not just a stupid unlock, it's actually a good weapon that does damage, and that's what you're looking for. Now Clown needs to get back into the enemy line, behind the enemy lines actually, to do some more work for the team, as currently the control of it is in the hands of the French. They're setting up some nice sticky traps there by Kalis. They have a good positioning and they have 100% uber charge. There's a lot of time that the Turkey will have to kind of work with if they want to do something. They're moving in. Ron, huge bomb, managed to get a force out of Euthanasia, sharing the uber charge heavily, just trying to get people up to speed forward to the point. But most of the team has used that force out to basically just save Gragery, get himself safely out, get that Uber out, and maybe hope for a dry push, because I don't think Gragery has built his Uber charge fast enough to match the speed of Euthanasia.
Aran is just getting made a pawn for his deeds of his own team, because he's just bombing the medic constantly once again, because they need the Uber forced. He does actually surf always the damage coming from the mini sentry, so what a great jump that is. Right now he's just distracting so much behind that just enables the Turkish team to walk forward. It's 4 players against 4 players right now, but they still do have the heals onto the side of the Turkish team, full 100% as well. They need to watch out for their medic, because they have kind of slowish spawns right there, and the French squad already completely comprised, only missing their scout onto the midpoint. Frost needs to watch out, doesn't get too aggressive. He does get shot though by the P shooter once again from the cliff area, and there comes a big jump from Joe, getting into their house area completely undenied, a bit getting damaged, okay, and dying to the spy with the interesting shot. But just these soldiers jumping behind, and now the Uber coming in, getting denied a lot though.
Nice Uber charge, trying to get a lot done. They're gonna find Cobbs, however, and Euthanasia was low in health. He's still being pestered by some players, but there's a lot of red bodies around him as well to protect the medic from certain depth. Granger actually going down there. There's no more medic for the team, and then Patates just reflects a pipe or rocket actually onto the spy. That's a bit unfortunate on the side of the French espionage artist, but the point still belongs to the Turkish team. 1 minute to go, to 1.5 for France to actually get this one done. And, well, it still can be anybody's game at this point. T-Bird getting found out by Clash there. Clash is still on the prowl, however. Whoa, he's looking for Gragery, but he's gonna find a couple of more players in his face before he reaches that. Hydra is gonna go down, and now Gragery is in a lot of trouble. He surely won't be able to survive this. No, he won't, as he's been chased down by Karnax with ease with that Uber charge. Well played by the French team. Clown. Just stop. Just stop it.
It's a circus. It's honestly just the menagerie that we're watching these kids and maybe just other animals, for the lack of other words. Just getting the frags once again, as we said before. I feel like this time though, the French team, we see what they do right now. They just clean up the close area of the point, and then they just chase the medic when they get all the frags, instead of just going all in as before. Right now though, the spam classes do come forward. There's still the soldier onto Euthanasia. He does survive though, doesn't get forced and gets killed by the detonator. Just really strong defensive work there by T-Burden, completely being a burden for jumping players. And right now they're getting denied onto getting this point, because they still have cops onto the cliff area. He's just shooting everybody, and there's only a heavy with Fists of Steel onto the point.
Yeah, but he's forcing these red players out of their hiding hole, which is what they were looking for. The point is almost capped, so anybody could really finish it off. Clash is a lot of trouble. Ubercharge's coming out, chasing down the demo man. They find the kill. They're looking for more. Chasing out Hydra. Hydra's gonna find himself a couple of meat shots in his back, and Raph is there as well. Canlock will, well, survive this one, but just barely. 10 seconds left on the clock. The point has not yet been capped, Domaytoe, and Turkey has all the respawns in place. They just need to place themselves on the point. They have that little bit of leeway time to get themselves on it. Aron jumps in, but T-Bird is just denying the entire jump. Clash is putting some damage on the Euthanasia and Kalis, but they're still staying healthy. They need to get on it. There's that reflect, and no, not close enough. As France is winning this one 3-2, and what is actually interesting is that they only get themselves 2 points out of this. and 1 point going to the way of Turkey, which makes it extremely interesting as it turns out now Netherlands is tied with France. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, France has 15, so 1 point over is French team. If Turkey has had won that would be an interesting situation. But right now, France is getting themselves the first seed in the tournament. Whew. Domaytoe, how about you walk us through logs? You like them numbers, right?
Well, apparently nowadays it seems interesting. But they definitely did show a lot here, the Turkish team, what they can do. Because before the French, how it was on Gullywash, they were just sitting easily locked up into their own keep. And then on this product round, then the Ottoman Empire came marching forward and then just knocked onto the door and completely tore it down for the first 2 rounds. But students of history, don't slay me, in the end the French players did win that one and putting themselves onto the top seed, as we mentioned before.